Before we start the podcast, I wanted to just pop in here and invite you to the upcoming masterclass that I'll be teaching live in September called Sales Scripts to Increase Influence. If you love the language suggestions and the way that I am phrasing things for your sales conversations in the podcast, then this masterclass is for you because it's all about language. It's all about creating scripts that are going to make a dramatic impact in your business for years to come. Now, you can find more details about the masterclass, the dates, the specific dates and times. I will share with you that these masterclasses are recorded. So if you can't make one of the live masterclasses, you get 60 days of access to the recordings so you can make up the class. One of the other huge benefits of the masterclasses when I teach them is I mail you a printed workbook that has all the techniques, all the sales scripts that I give during the live classes so that you have that workbook to refer back to. Many of my clients keep these workbooks like on their desk when they're writing their emails, when they are prepping for their sales calls, and they say they are invaluable. So most of the people say the workbook itself is worth the price of admission. So we would love to have you come be a part of it. You can find more details by going to bit.ly, so that's bit.ly/MC for masterclass sales scripts. So bit.ly/MC sales scripts. You'll find all the dates, the times, all the good stuff that's going to happen in the sales scripts to increase influence. When you click the sign me up button, I have a coupon code for you as a listener that's going to take $100 off your registration fee when you sign up right now. So if you scroll down to the bottom of the sales page, you'll see a spot that says have a coupon code. Here's your coupon code. You might want to pause this really quick and grab a pen and write it down, but it's SAVE100MC. Save 100 MC. That's going to take $100 off your registration fee. Hit the apply code, and you'll see at the bottom that there's a discount applied. That $100 discount is applied. Now, don't wait to sign up. I know it's not coming until September, but this masterclass sold out last year. We are already expecting it to sell out. We already have quite a few people registered for the masterclass. I would love to have you in there and support you as you continue to hone your own sales language and get more and more confident so that you can close more sales. So come join us, and I look forward to seeing you in there. Now let's start the podcast.
Are you ready to boost your confidence when selling so you're able to close more deals? Nikki Rausch will show you how to build a foundation of skills and a mindset that creates sales success without feeling pushy or salesy and without fear of rejection. She is a sales strategist and coach with more than 25 years of sales experience and is master certified in neuro-linguistic programming. This is a radically different approach to selling. It's a no sleaze, no slime, and no stress approach to building your business. This is Sales Maven. Here's Nikki.
Welcome, and thank you for listening to the Sales Maven Show. I'm your host, Nikki Rausch. I'm your own personal sales maven, here to offer you tips, techniques, and strategies to master your sales conversation. Today is an on-air coaching call with the brilliant Nancy, Lynn, and Ruth. Nancy is a member of the Sales Maven Society, and man, am I excited for you to meet her. Welcome, Nancy, to the show.
Oh, thank you, Nikki. I'm blushing. They can't see it, but I'm totally blushing.
Well, tell everybody a little bit about you and your business and your background. And you're so interesting. So I'm so excited for people to learn about you and what you do.
Well, my background is pretty twisted and unusual. I mean, I went to Harvard Law School straight out of college because it's what you did back then, you know.
Well, some people, I'm like, Harvard Law School. We, by the way, all of us in the Sales Maven Society just learned this about Nancy last week, I think. And everybody in the group was like, wait, what? Hold up. Okay. So some people go to Harvard and graduate with a law degree. Is that right?
Yes, indeed.
Okay. Keep going. Sorry.
So I was a lawyer for 9 years in Chicago, and it really wasn't right for me, but I did it. And then I finally went back to school and got a degree in a master's degree in marriage and family therapy. So I was a therapist then for, I don't know, it was over 17 years with time off for good behavior. to have my daughter, basically. But
okay.
That wasn't quite right either. It was closer, but there's all these strictures in when you're doing therapy. The insurance companies want you to follow these certain rules, and it's all about managing symptoms. And that's not what I got into it to do. I mean, I wanted to help people change their lives.
Yeah.
And so I started this little coaching practice on the side, just for fun, And what I found was that I always had some clients who, over and over again, they knew what they wanted to, and they were really motivated for it, and they knew what they had to do to get there. But they come back to me week after week and say they hadn't taken the steps. And I got really curious about that. So I brought in this tapping that I had learned in the therapy world. It's a form of tapping called EFT, or emotional freedom techniques, and you tap on acupressure points. And what I found with these clients was that there was always a subconscious block, some sort of rule or belief they'd internalized, usually from when they were pretty young, that was getting triggered whenever they were going after what they really wanted. And so we used the tapping, we released it, and then they could go off and do what they really wanted to do, what they were called to do. So I shifted my coaching practice so that was what I was focused on, the people who were holding themselves back. And now what I really do is work with entrepreneurs and self-employed women who come to me to get rid of the subconscious gunk that's been holding them back from making more money, getting more visible, and having a bigger impact.
How powerful is that? Oh my goodness. Thank goodness for you, because I think it doesn't really matter. This is my impression, but please give me yours. It doesn't really matter what level of success you have reached in your business. And I don't know that it's specific to women, but I will say as a woman, it doesn't really matter what level of success you have reached. There are blocks. There are mindset things that get in our way.
Yeah. And I find that you can get rid of some stuff, and then you grow and grow your business, and you hit the next ceiling. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
And I've done it myself.
With my background in neurolinguistic programming, it's always interesting how, you think, oh, I dealt with that. And then why is this bubbling to the surface again? Or, whatever, like, oh, now it's coming up in this new form, or it's showing up in this new way in my business or in my relationship or whatever. So yes, I'm very familiar with this. And I will say for the listener, Nancy was so gracious that she granted me a session with her before we got on to the podcast. So I have done a little bit of tapping in the past, but not had like a session with a practitioner, somebody who guides the session, helps you with like these mindset things, helps you with some blocks. And it was fabulous. I am super relieved. I'm going to say I feel very relieved as a result of the work that we just did, like 20 minutes ago.
Great. That's what I love to hear. And I found with tapping that you can release a block, and it releases not just in business, in personal life, in other areas as well. And it's gone for good, although another one can get triggered when you go up to the next level. So,
yeah. Well, I think where we started of like what my thing was is not necessarily where we ended, but it was definitely what I needed right now. And so that was super helpful. And I didn't know that was what I needed until we started this process. So an incredible session. I recommend having a session with Nancy if you're feeling like there's some block going on in some way that is keeping you from, like you said, being visible, growing your business. Like, what are some of the more common, if you can share, or if you will share, what are some of the more common mindset or blocks that us business women have that are like key things to come and have a tapping session about?
Well, actually, I have worked with men too, and I find that with women, particularly with women entrepreneurs, there are some subconscious blocks that we all got programmed with that most men just didn't. And I see them in, it's basically three main areas. And I've got this framework, MVP. M stands for mindset, which is a bit of a catch-all. It's where you see yourself as capable and deserving of bigger success. And so many women struggle with that one. oh, who am I to do this, that, or the other thing? I'm just not that good. V stands for visibility. So that's getting out in front of a bigger audience, having that really bigger impact. And then P stands for profitability. I don't know why, but this one seems to get most everyone asking for making and keeping more money in your business. And you need to have that if you're going to have that bigger impact, if you're going to grow the business and do more of what you're called to do.
I love the structure of the MVP. So mindset, visibility, and profitability. Yeah. So fantastic. And so anything, if you feel like you have an issue around, I obviously have a mindset issue. So I think like you described this, like there's something that you want to do. I think you gave this as an example of like why you got into what you're doing. Like you have a woman who comes to you and she's like, I know I want to do this. I even know the steps to doing it. And I haven't done it yet. Okay. Key indicator. There's a blind spot or there's a block in some way. That's a time to go and see Nancy. Right. Yeah. And so now visibility one would be, what would be this? I'm going to make one up, but I'd rather hear from you.
I had a client once. I had worked on all this profitability stuff and she was great. She went off, she grew her business. She came back because the next step in her business was to go out and do a lot of speaking events. And she found that every time she got up on stage, she would get sick. And the thing that finally got her back to see me was she had gone on in front of an audience bigger than she'd ever been in before. And she lost her voice for 10 days after that. And so she's like, okay, something's going on here. Yeah. And she came back and we tapped on that. And in one session, what came up was when she was 4 years old, she'd been singing along with the record at home. And her mother came running in and yelled at her, are you trying to kill your brother? And she was just 4 years old. And her mother was very upset. Her brother was sick. And we can understand why the mother did it. But as a 4-year-old, she believed it. And so she internalized the rule that if I am loud, someone's going to get hurt. And so when we tapped on that, we could release it and then she didn't have to get sick anymore. So that would be an example of something that visibility can get triggered in.
Yeah. Okay. So, and again, would you be willing to give me an example for profitability? I feel like I could make one up, but I'd rather hear your example than mine.
Absolutely. Oh, there's so many. Okay. I had a client who came to me because she had a good business and it was at a level where she just couldn't seem to get past that level. Because whenever she'd start to make more money, where she could hire someone, she could grow, something would happen. She would either spend it on a training she didn't need, or she would have some sort of unexpected bill come in, or for some reason, or she would stop doing the marketing and then it would dry up and then she'd have to ramp back up again. And so she knew she was doing something. And she came to me, and when we went looking, we found multiple reasons, multiple blocks in there. One was that she'd grown up in an Eastern Bloc country. So all the communist messages, don't have more than other people, were there. And even though as an adult, she realized that when she makes more money, she can hire people, make their lives better. It's all good. Yeah. Subconsciously, that rule was there. And then there was something from an ancestor who had a lot of money, but when the communists took over, they lost everything. They went to jail. It was the family story was there. And that was like, it's not safe to have more money. And then there was something where, personally, she had not been able to have something she wanted growing up. And she just decided, I can't have more. It's not allowed to have more money in our family. And so and there were more. I mean, there's so many sources of these money blocks that we have. And so we released those, and then it was possible for her to go out and keep doing the marketing and go out and get more clients and all the good stuff that she consciously wanted, but subconsciously wasn't letting herself do.
Yeah. Powerful, powerful stuff. I remember in our NLP training, we actually did this. I remember this was at the master's level where we talked about money and what money means. And it was so interesting. I've talked about this on air before, that I have a saying where I say, I love money and money loves me. And sometimes when I say it, people get this look on their face like horror, like how could you possibly say that, Nikki? Like, that's so ugly, or that's so wrong, or that, there's judgment around it. And I can say that now because of the work that I did in the NLP class where we did this whole process around money, because that wasn't necessary. Like, I don't come from money, and I grew up very poor, and my, parents to this day are, they're okay, but by no means is there like extra. There was never extra, with 4 kids and all that stuff. So that was not the mindset that I grew up with, but learning what those limiting beliefs that I had around money and being able to transform them, that now I can talk about money very openly. I'm okay, sharing, I think, things that sometimes people are like, I can't believe you talk about that. Or it's like, I'm okay with it. Like, I'm okay with money. I'm not attached to money. I'm okay letting money flow in and out and in and out constantly. I'm okay to spend money, and I'm also okay to save money, and I'm okay to receive money, like all this stuff about money. But I know that's not the case for a lot of people. So if you're listening and you have an issue around money, it might be time to fix it, because that might be the thing that's getting in your way right now of growing your business. I feel really strongly about this one.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Women come to me like they consciously usually have worked through it. It's like, with money, money's just energy. It's a way that I can do good in the world. They know all that up here, but then subconsciously there's that old stuff. Money doesn't grow on trees. There's never enough. You got to work too hard for it. It's not spiritual, all that stuff. And we don't need it, but it's there.
Yeah,
so
totally. Yeah. All right. So let's talk about ways that clients work with you. So we've talked about that there's private sessions, but I feel like there's is there a couple different ways?
Well, yes, I've got different programs for one-on-one sessions, and I do it all over Zoom. So I work with people in Europe and all over. But there's also a group that I have, and I call it the MVP Club. So for small groups, no more than 5 women, and it's for women, because a lot of patriarchal stuff comes up, and we release that. It makes it different. So it's for women to step into a bigger role. They're meant to be leaders. I mean, if you've got a business, you're a woman leader already, but they know that they're called to do more. And so by working together, we not only have hot seats, so we go one-on-one with every one of them multiple times, focusing on the mindset, visibility, and profitability issues, but they also support each other. And when you're tapping along, when somebody else is on the hot seat, you can realize that, I didn't realize it, but I had that problem too. And now I'm working on it. So I love my MVP clubbers. It's so good to work with them.
Okay. And how long is that program?
It's 12 sessions. So 4 sessions in each one of those areas.
Okay. Love it. Okay. Super fun. Anything else you want to share about your business? And if not, we're going to jump into the coaching round.
I'm so ready for some coaching.
Okay. Okay. Well, let's talk about that. How can I serve you today? What is something that we can talk about that's going to really make an impact for you right now?
Well, I as I mentioned, I've got this MVP club, and I love working with these groups. And they make so much progress and so much fun. So I've got no problem doing that. But I could really use some help actually filling the groups. The last time that I opened one up, I didn't really even do a launch. I just started talking about it with some people. And then so many women raised their hands that I ended up having 2 groups instead of 1, which was great. Yeah. But I don't really know what I did. And what I would just love to have a system where I know that when it's time, I can call in the right women for the groups in the right way. Okay. So when you say to me, I started talking about it and people just wanted to sign up, where were you talking about it? Where were these instances? Well, I belong to different networking groups. So primarily it was in those ways. They're all virtual these days, but some of them are always virtual and some of them are in person, but it was all virtually. Okay. So we know that networking works for you big time. Okay. Yeah. And so when you think back to the different women that were in the 2 groups that you launched, if you were to, and maybe this won't necessarily make sense for you to do this like right now. And if you can do it off the top of your head, great. And if not, maybe go back and look at it, but really dig in, like look at the name of the person that was like
Sheila was in the class, and I want you to kind of track back. Where did I actually meet Sheila? Like, did we actually meet at the networking meeting, or was she somebody that was introduced to me in some other way? Or like really track back. Where did Sheila and you first connect? Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to ask you to track forward. I don't always do this, but I think for you, this is going to be important. I'm going to ask you to track forward and say, at what point or how did Sheila get introduced to tapping with Nancy? Like, what was it that brought that up? Was it a conversation that we were having? Were you a speaker at your event? Did you have your 15 minutes in front of the room to tell people what you did? Or like, what was it that introduced her to you?
So most of them were from these different virtual networking groups, which I have over the years talked about tapping with, either casually or sometimes I will give a talk.
Okay.
So I think most of them had heard about this before the day where they're like, okay, Nancy's now talking about this group thing and I want that. So none of them was I giving a presentation that then led them in at that time. There were a couple of them who were introduced to me by a friend.
Okay.
And some had been one-on-one clients and then wanted to do the group as well.
Okay.
Okay.
So that says, like, to me, where my brain goes is, all right, so we know networking works for you. And what I would suggest is that you're more strategic in your networking. So when you look at which networking groups brought them, how can you pour some gasoline on either that particular group to get more engaged with more of the members, or are there other groups like that group that you haven't yet exposed them to you and you to them? Because that's another way to grow that. Because sometimes, like, not all networking groups are created equal, right? Like just about everything in life. So there will be some groups where you might go like, well, that was like, one client came from that group, but then you're going to look at another group and you're going to be like, yeah, 8 clients came from that group. That's where you need to spend time and focus, because that there's more clients there, right? Like if you're getting 8 people who sign up for a group program that, only has 5 spots and you have to do a second round, then that group we want to tap that group.
Yeah.
So how can you get more engaged with that group so you have more opportunity to be exposed? Do you volunteer to be on the board? Do you volunteer to speak? Do you do some type of a workshop or something for the group so that you get more exposure, they get more exposure to you? That would be one thing I would say. Now, I know you're asking me for about a system. So when I think about this from a system standpoint, is I would come up with like, what are 3 ways that you can get more engaged with the group? And of those 3, which one is the most successful? Offer that first.
Okay.
Then do the next thing, then do the next thing. And we just have to see, okay, so then, and at some point you might max out in a group, just being really honest, if they're not growing, you might max out. So then it's like, okay, so not that you give up that group completely, because there's probably still, repeat clients there. Can somebody go through a 12-week MVP program for you and want to sign up for the next one?
Yes, actually, a number of the people are repeats.
Okay, good.
So,
okay. So that's the other thing too. Now here's another thing. If you haven't done this, is like attracts like. So you have people who are in your program right now who know people who would be a good fit for your program. Do you ever do any kind of a buddy pass?
I haven't. What would that look like?
So what that might look like is, you can do it in a couple different ways. Let's say, I don't know if you have this, but do you have like an early registration fee? Like, or is it just a flat fee? Everybody pays the same.
It's a flat fee. There is a pay it off in full. There's a deal for that, but there's also a monthly payment. 3 months.
Okay. Is there some type of an incentive or a bonus that you could offer to the people who sign up first?
Yeah, I could do a one-on-one session for the first however many to sign up.
Okay.
As just part of the, they get the special for being here first.
Okay.
That's one thing I have done in the past. I have some programs that I've created tap-along videos on, and probably the biggest one is around money, releasing money blocks. I could give that as a signing bonus, early signing bonus.
So what you could do is you could take any of those options and you could say to your people who have come before that are likely to come again, say, I want you to come again, and I have something extra for you. When you bring a friend, you and your friend are going to get access to this extra training.
Oh, I like that.
Or you and your friend are going to get a bonus session with me. You decide what you want the bonus to be. It doesn't have to be just time with you. It could, like you said, you have this pre-recorded pieces. So give something extra for them to bring a friend. They get rewarded. Their friend gets rewarded too.
Oh, I love that.
And you can automate this.
You're always generous.
So you can automate this process too with your emails, that when somebody signs up and they go into and you tag them in your system, like, okay, so Sheila just signed up for the next MVP program. Now Sheila gets an automated email sequence, like 4 email sequence that's like, here's a buddy pass and here's what you get for having a buddy. And then every time somebody signs up, you put them they get the tag, the email sequence is automated.
Can I clear something up with you?
Yes.
So if Sheila brings her buddy, are you saying that Sheila gets to bring her buddy on for free?
No.
Okay.
No, the buddy pays, but the buddy also gets access to the bonus.
Okay.
Sheila gets access to it and the buddy gets access to it. Now, if Sheila comes and doesn't bring a buddy, she still gets all the quality of the MVP program. Mm-hmm. She just doesn't get this extra bonus.
Okay.
Okay. Like so that's one way to make a systemized offer, is to do something where, hey, now you're in, why not bring a friend? And by bringing a friend, here's what you and your friend are going to get. So again, it doesn't have to be even a discount, because we're not even talking about a discount here. Right. I have done this in the past and had success with the buddy pass, where someone will sign up for like an early registration, and then they get this automated, like, hey, bring a buddy, and they'll get this special price too. That's another way that I've done it. Yeah. Okay.
And I could definitely see that with previous clients.
Yes.
Would you do it with people who would be new to the program?
Yes.
You would
I
do
would
that
do it with everybody.
Everybody comes.
Everybody. Because sometimes it's easier to do something with a buddy, honestly. Right?
True.
So why not? And you could test it, right? If you decide, this doesn't really work, you could either change the bonus, or you could offer like a bigger bonus to the person and a smaller bonus to the buddy, right? Like you could play with this a little bit, but I find that if you make it kind of they're on equal playing field, that has worked better for me, because then it doesn't feel like, they don't feel like they're getting something that their friend isn't getting. So it doesn't create this like weird dynamic. Like, oh, because you signed up, now I get this blah, 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 and you don't get it, So I always think just give them the same thing.
So now I have a really small newsletter list, email list.
Yes.
It's like 350 people. And people have reached out from that and purchased, but it's still a small list. And I do have more folks who like people on Facebook and some on LinkedIn. Is this something where you would like offer it in those mediums? Or would you say this is a one-on-one reach out to people specifically?
Okay. I would automate a sequence with it, an email sequence with it for sure, because then it's triggered every single time somebody joins the program. Mm-hmm. I would make this offer out to your list, like, hey, the MVP program's starting and there's a bonus for you to bring a buddy. You get this extra thing. Here's what it is, right? And there needs to be an email sequence to promote just the offer, right? Of just being in the MVP program.
Right.
So that's got to go to your list. And I would definitely promote it on social media. There's really no reason. I don't think there's a reason not to promote it everywhere. And again, you could decide initially, I would say promote it everywhere and see which one, which one gets some action, and then pour some gasoline on that. And if you find that the buddy pass thing isn't working, so what else will work? Because right now you have to grow your list. Like that's just a fact, right? We all have to continue to grow our list. So continuing to grow your list. And I know you've put together this really brilliant quiz that now people can take as a way to get the quiz, get their results. And then, I think we're going to talk about the quiz here in a second, but, and then once they get the quiz, now they're on the list. So now they get this offer to join the MVP program. Now you can also talk about in your offer, there is a little bit of exclusivity to your offer in that there's only 5 spots. That's not a huge amount of spots. So those spots are going to go fast. And maybe you decide that, I'm also a big fan of having a wait list. Like you fill your first 5 spots and then somebody's like, yeah, but now I want to bring my buddy. Okay, so let's see if we can fill another round of MVPs and have 2 different programs where them and their buddy can be in it. But the advantage of the first 2 people who sign up every single time has this offer to send to their buddy. And as long as their buddy signs up right away, that's 4 spots you just filled.
Yeah. Okay.
Awesome. Now you just need 1 more and you have a full program.
Great. That sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
Something you said triggered something.
Okay.
It's gone. It's gone.
Okay. It'll come back. As it does, just speak up.
Okay.
Okay. Try the buddy thing. See what happens. And if it doesn't work, then let's talk about something else to do. But I think this for you, and also going back to really looking at which of your groups are bringing the most, your ideal clients, and how can you get more in front of those people?
Okay.
Because obviously they want and need, and people network with you, which I think you and I met originally at a networking event. Isn't that true?
Yeah. Seattle Women Business Owners.
Yes. So there you go. That's how we first met.
Yeah. I think it was that, not BAM, but yeah.
So WBO, right?
Yeah. That was
I feel like it was WBO. Yeah. So that's how we first met. That's how we got connected.
I've been stalking you ever since.
Yeah. So networking is a great, and as we're going back into live networking, right?
Mm-hmm.
Continuing to, and so when you're networking, I also want you to be thinking about are you creating curiosity? Are you recognizing buying signals? Are you inviting people to do next steps with you? And I know you know these things because I know you've been kind of in and out of things with the Sales Maven community for a while. So, making sure that you're being strategic in your networking too, of creating curiosity, recognizing buying signals, inviting people to the next step with you, and giving people the opportunity to get onto the list, giving people the opportunity to get into the VIP MVP program. And I'm calling it my own thing, the MVP program, and doing a private session with you, because some people are just going to want private work with Nancy. Other people are going to love this collaborative approach. And so you have an offer for either person, whatever their wish is, or maybe both.
Yeah. And I've seen people just light up at the idea of the group. Oh, women who are supporting each other. That's so great. So yeah, I see exactly what you're saying. And it is actually pretty exclusive. It's not just women. I actually will meet with them beforehand because I want to make sure this is going to be a good group who will be supportive of each other. Yeah. So I don't let just anybody in. So,
okay. So make sure you put that in the requirements about the buddy, right? They've got to meet the requirements. And again, like attracts like, so you probably have a good chance that the people that they're going to bring are going to be good fits, and they still have to be approved.
Yeah. Okay. That's great.
Okay, good. This was fun.
Thank you so much, Nikki.
You're welcome. All right. Well, let's talk about a couple things as we wrap up today. One is, I have a couple questions for you. What's one benefit you've received from being in the Sales Maven Society?
You're only going to make me choose only just one. Oh, okay. And yes, I was in and out. I tried it out on a special offer because I kept sending people to you, and I kept thinking, yes, I should actually check this thing out. So I did it, and I was so busy I couldn't take full advantage of it. So I left, but I vowed I was coming back. And then when you had a special lifetime membership, I jumped on that. So I'm in now. I'm totally in.
You're totally in. You're totally a lifer.
Because there's so much in there, but I'd say the top benefit that I value the most is the access to you. I mean, you have the perfect language to every situation, even the most difficult ones. And the rest of us are like our mouths are hanging open, like, I don't know. What do you do? I don't know. And you'll come in and very calmly say exactly the right thing. And it's just wonderful. So you've got your regular Q&As where we can have an actual conversation with you and get our questions answered there. But I mean, you will actually respond to any post in your Facebook group. It seems like you're in there within minutes, giving us the exact wording. It is just amazing. That's so wonderful. So that's my top benefit there, I'd say.
Thank you. I'm flattered. And I love that people think I'm so fast to respond, because there's days where I'm just back to back meetings. But I do purposely give myself a little window between meetings so that I can go in there and write responses. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but thank you.
Well, you seem like you're magical. Just get in there.
All right. You're sweet. Okay. Now let's talk about how people can get a hold of you. And I think this is where we're going to talk about the quiz a little bit too. Is that right?
Absolutely. Well, if anyone wants to just reach out right now, I'm Nancy@unblockresults.com. But I would like to give a gift to your listeners, Nikki. And the way to do this is just to go to unblockresults.com/Maven. And you'll get to my quiz. It's a real short quiz to find out which of those 3 MVP areas you have success blocks in. And then once you've taken the quiz, you get access to 3 tap-along videos where you tap along with me in the video to release a common success block, one in each of those 3 areas.
Wow. I didn't realize there was this whole training component behind the quiz. That is super generous. So if you have any interest in tapping, this is definitely something to do. So give the URL one more time. unblockresults.com/Maven. And that'll be in our show notes. So go download the quiz, find out what's the block, what's the sticking point for you. And then Nancy's going to give you a little video on how to have some success around that. I love it. That's super generous. Thank you so much for offering that. Thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for being in the group. Love having you in there. Thank you for all of your referrals. You are such a great source you have been such a great ambassador for me in the marketplace. And I'm just so grateful to you. Thank you.
Nikki, it's just, I'm helping out these people because you have so much value to give. So it's my great pleasure and honor. Thank you so much for this opportunity too.
I love it. Okay. All right. And so for you as the listener, as we wrap up today, if you've been listening to the podcast, you know that 2021 for me is the year of the question. So I've been giving a question for you to put in your little toolkit when you're in your sales conversations. So I have what I think is a really important question for you today. If you're not asking this might be a game changer for you. This is a question that you typically ask in a discovery call. And the question is, what do you already know about? And then you insert your own context there. So if I was talking to somebody, I might say, what do you already know about the Sales Maven Society? Or what do you already know about the type of training that I offer? Or whatever the context is. So if I was Nancy, I might say, what do you already know about tapping? And the idea behind this question, I always say this is a 3-part or a 3-purpose question. One is it's a great opportunity for build rapport because it allows for the person that you're in conversation with to be the expert in the moment. So whatever they say that they know, they're the expert in that moment. So it's a great rapport builder. The second reason to ask this question is to uncover any inaccurate information that they might have. Now, this isn't to put on the defensive. This isn't to shame. This is like, again, rapport first. So it's an opportunity for you to go, actually, and then you might offer a reframe about whatever they have that might be inaccurate information. And the third reason to ask this question is to reaffirm when people are right. People like to be right. I think I've talked about this before on the podcast. I know I do trainings about this in the Sales Maven Society. Nothing more powerful than reinforcing when somebody is right about something and calling it out. Ooh, it feels so good to people to be right. So that's a question for you. What do you already know about? Insert your context. See what happens by asking this question. All right. As we wrap up today, if you are ready, or when you are ready to ignite your sales, the best place to do that is to come join the Sales Maven Society. This is where you and I will connect. You bring your questions, you bring your sales situations, anything that's going on for you, sales, business related. There's an opportunity for you to ask questions. As you hear from the members in the group, you do get full access to me. There's opportunity for you to really engage. And you also get access to really amazing people like Nancy, who is a lifer. She's in the group for life. So, when you join, she's going to be there for you. So come join right now. Go to salesmavensociety.com. This is a monthly membership. You can cancel at any time. There's no long-term commitment unless you become a lifer, and then we hope you'll stay forever. It's normally $147 a month, but I'm going to give you a coupon code that's going to take $100 off your first month. That coupon code is 47trial, 47 TRIAL, one word. Put it in on the coupon code when you go to go to salesmavensociety.com, and you can come for your first month for $47. Dip your toe in the water and see if we're the place for you. I'd love to connect with you. If we don't see you in the Sales Maven Society, then let's connect on social media. I tend to hang out on Instagram and LinkedIn. So come find me. I want to hear from you. I want to hear about you and your business. Have a great day, and thank you so much for listening. Take care.
Thanks for listening to Sales Maven. Visit us online at yoursalesmaven.com/maven for more resources to boost your confidence and skills.